My name is Rob Stevenson, mental health campaigner, founder of the Inside Out Leaderboard and the CEO of Form. And I'm here today to give a short guidance video on how to use the FormScore polling tool. And thank you for using that with your employees. So a little bit about Form and the FormScore. It's a very simple concept, helping people answer the question, how are you today, about their mental well-being, using a score out of 10. So as you can see, I'm a 7 out of 10 today. I'm on good form, and I slept well. I've done some exercise this morning. I've got reasonable energy levels. I'm on good form, but our form can change, and it can change daily. I might drop to a 6 later if my day's not going so well, or I might get boosted up to an 8. Some days I might be a 4 out of 10 or even lower. Our form is always moving. It is never still. Just like our physical fitness, our mental well-being is forever shifting as well. And some days we might be on exceptional form, and occasionally in life, all-time kind of peak form, which is something that's really worth striving for. So what I'm going to do is just share the presentation that you've got access to and just talk you through that and just give you a little bit of guidance as to how to use this polling tool. So bear with me while I do that. So we've talked a little bit about the FormScore. It's this scale out of 10. In the workplace, it helps people connect and reflect and notice how they're feeling, and introduce a new language to communicate that, and a very simple language, the use of color, but the use of this score out of 10. So the FormScore Poll is a tool that we use to introduce the concept, to check in with how people are feeling over a webinar or using a link over email. And it's a kind of live polling tool that populates as people can anonymously share their scores. So this guide will help you just get to grips with how to use that. So let's talk first of all about using the tool in a live setting in a webinar. So first of all, you need to set up your poll. So request a poll using the link that you've been given. And there's a brief questionnaire there, and then you'll receive the link, which is a URL that would take you to this sort of scale page here, where you can then fill in your own form. So for me, I would click on 7 today, click share it, and then you would click review the results. And that would then take you to a page where you would see your single score, and that poll is then ready to use. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So if we're doing this in a live sense, then flip to your PowerPoint presentation, and we've got these slides for you in the appendix. And then what we would do is, first of all, share your own score. And this is quite important because as a presenter, as a leader, it's important to give people permission to talk about and think about their own well-being. And even though this is anonymous, sharing your own score encourages people to do the same. So I would, in this case, have shared my 7 out of 10. And then it's worth talking through the questions that we're asking people to reflect on that drives our score. So as mentioned, I feel pretty motivated today. I've got good energy levels. I slept well last night, which all means simple tasks and decisions feel pretty easy for me. I've exercised this morning with some yoga. I haven't exercised as much as I would like to. My diet has been quite balanced and nutritious. I feel a strong sense of purpose. I actually feel connected to friends and family, although I'm very aware I need to work on the connection with my children a little bit more. And I'm balancing stress with moments of recovery in my days pretty well. And then finally, I'm quite relaxed about my finances, although I appreciate many might be very worried about finances right now. So what we do, we talk through in that way and then invite people to reflect on those questions and then think about where they might be on the scale, from peak form, exceptional, very good, right down to sort of good or average form, and then some of the low scores. And again, it's worth commenting that many of us will be a 4 or a 5 out of 10 at any one time. And this is part of the condition of being human. So we're not trying to strive to be a 10 all the time. It's a good position to get to, and we want to proactively manage our mental well-being. But it's okay to be a 5. It's okay to be a 4. It's okay to be a 6. But we want to try and build awareness of what's driving that. So worth mentioning that, and we'll provide a bit more guidance on what to do when somebody posts a 3 or even lower in the video. So the next thing to do is run the poll. So the results page you will have gone to, and that's the page that we will look to share. So share that screen in your browser, and then invite people to scan the QR code, which means open up the camera, hold it over that QR code icon, and that will then flash up a link to the actual poll. And it'll take us to the scale that people can select their score. Now, if people can't scan a QR code, you can share that link, the original link that you had that would take people to the scale, just to make it a bit easier. So what will happen is this page will populate, and we'll see the numbers start popping up in here. We can see that's the 8 out of 10 that I populated it with, but it will update live. And what you can do then is click on the logo to toggle to the results page. So as we see it populated there, that was a poll that we did, averaging 6.2, 94 people participated in that poll. And the results page there shows that kind of spread, majority 6s, a bunch of 7s, some 8s, the odd 9, and then quite a few low scores. This was done relatively early stages of lockdown, so a lot of people were struggling a little bit. So as people fill in the poll, comment on the results that are coming in. So I would be saying, all right, it's good to see a few 8s or 9s there. Can see a few 4s. That's okay. Perfectly normal to be experiencing that. Just invite you to think on what's driving your form for you. And again, when we see a 3 or a 2 in there, it would be right. Okay, I'd invite you to check in with me after the meeting. Here are the what we'll do is share a link to the resources of the company to help support you. But a 3 or a 2 would be a time that we might need to get some help. If someone posts a 1 out of 10, don't panic. Generally, they're testing the system, but I think what I would say is I would call it out. I'd say, I can see someone's posted 1 out of 10. Here's my email address. Here's my phone number. Please do contact me. Don't experience this alone. But I'd also say maybe somebody is just testing, excuse me, the system on that. So the other point, don't be too overly enthusiastic about the 9s and the 10s. It's good to notice them when they come up. But we're not trying to make everybody feel like they need to be a 9 or a 10. It's okay to be a 5 or a 6. And we're trying to create a culture where that is okay. So a bit of more guidance on the low scores. If someone posts a 3 out of 10, just really do comment on it. Don't ignore it. I can see that 1 or 2 people are struggling right now, and we're not going to know who these people are. So we need to invite them to take some action. And that action could be to reach out to you, to reach out to the wellbeing department, to utilize the resources of the company, whether that's an EAP scheme or other benefits you provide. And mention, look, we all struggle from time to time. It's not permanent, it's a temporary state of affairs, but let's try and think about seeking some help to help you get back up to that 4, 5, 6 out of 10. So the link down the bottom there will take you to some more detailed resources of what to do on each sort of score, both at an individual and a supporter level. So polling offline, very similar. Albeit you don't do it in a live sense, but similar in the sense of how you get the poll, what you would do with it. You've then got this link that you use to email out to employees who would access the scale and input their scores over a period of time. The results can be viewed at any time by adding results onto the end of that URL or clicking on results once you've filled in the poll. The instructions on the next page will help in terms of what to do to send out with the link. For me, it's about just making sure that people have got the questions, they understand the context of what we're trying to do. and these simple instructions. So reflect on the questions, open the link to the poll, see where you might fit on that that scale, and then select your particular score, and then you can view the results as we go along. But just mention it's totally anonymous, and we're just trying to get a temperature test of how people are feeling with a score out of 10. Really simple. So there's an appendix here with the slides. So these are the slides that I would use to talk through the FormScore in a live setting, but you could also send any of these out in advance. These are the slides that I use to show what my own score is. So there would be my 7 today. Use which one is relevant for you. And then we've got the questions in a presentation format that we can talk through. We've got the scale again that we can talk through, and that just gives you enough to use in a webinar type setting. So thank you very much. You can find much more information out on the website FormScore today. We have developed the concept into a mobile app. We're evolving that into a business enterprise solution over the coming months. But the app allows people to log their score, but also choose who they would connect with and support each other and see the form score of their friends, family, and colleagues. So there's much more resources on the website. So please do take a look. So that just leaves me to thank you for your interest in the FormScore, but also thank you for proactively taking steps to check in with employees. And it's a time where we need to be asking our employees, how are you today? We need to be showing support. So really, truly thank you for doing that. Any questions you've got, please check out the website or get a message to me there. We'll do our best to help out. Thanks again.